Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, where the MSX is our marathon tech-costed SpaceX Extreme, and obviously we need a Gigabase to achieve it. So, last episode, how was that? 29 minutes, first SpaceX objective achieved. There was a little bit of residual that has launched since, but obviously there were one or two issues with oil we knew about in advance. We knew we didn't have enough ability to supply the rocket fuel just at the moment, with our calculations basically thinking this one oil facility is only 1/3 of what we needed, but we were burning out reserves, which we have, but there really were, in fact I'll just turn this off for now because we're not even looking at that. There really were two issues. One, we just didn't have enough, what's your problem? We didn't have enough, that's confusing the hell out of me. Go there. Anyway, we didn't have enough stackers for the crude oil coming in, which is not normally an issue. It's only an issue. When. Good grief! What a mess! It's only an issue. That one's not going to be able to get through. It's only an issue when you're not actually using any oil, because it was only just too much with one hanging around here. But it would be easy enough to add another one. But the other issue I want to deal with is, at the moment, if we don't use our light, it's use it or lose it, because it will just pump it all straight through to cracking. And I mean, it is normal to have control over that, rather than just allowing it all to be pumped out. And I think I'm actually going to instigate some level of control here, because really I don't want it all converted to plastic unless there's a reserve of light to make the rocket fuel. So this one, yeah, I mean, what is the rocket fuel balance at the moment? Well, it's building up, but it's not full by any stretch. So we need to sort out this. I don't know exactly why this one pulled. Oh yes, I do, because it's got one of those. That's exactly why it pulled in. So let's try and fix oil as the first part of this episode. Fix our design so that we don't get this silliness happening in future. I thought I had removed all of those rocket fuel extras, but obviously I did not. This one right here is the problem. We only need one of these. I don't know why this one has stopped there though. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. The rocket fuel probably doesn't have enough. Rocket fuel is less than 3.2k, the rocket fuel is 1.4k. I'm going to just tell this one to ignore that and go through anyway. Oh, we've got double up here as well. So it would have gone to the first part, which is part of the problem. Let's just go to manual for the moment, drive through, then go to automatic. That will get that one out of the way. Now back here, we don't have a lot of distance to play with. We need more than that. We need to pull this guy back a bit. Put them on manual. Oops. Pull them back, not push them forward. That should be adequate. We'll leave them on manual for the moment. Jump in this guy. You can go to manual as well. Oh, no, not that way. Yes, I'm not exactly sure how that happened. Back to automatic. Oh, you're changing the station you want to go to now. Okay, that's fine. You can go back to automatic as well. And let's work out where we are going to implement our control over the conversion. So I've got some tanks on me. There's nowhere in there that it fits. I could put it out here. So we could run this line all the way out here and then send it back down here, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing, although there's no room there because we're coming along hard there. So I'll just put a tank here and see if I can make some sense of this. Where's that going? It's probably not where I want it, and I don't have any of these on me. That was very silly. I have got an oil loadout though on the engineering train, so it'll be easy enough to grab some of the supplies that we require. Need some of those and maybe some of those. That will do me for the moment. Oh, actually, let's get... Oh no, I have some of those. Good. I was thinking I'd need it at sort of the top end. I pump the tank up here, 'cause there's plenty of room up there, but that sort of encourages a flow up in this direction, which is against the principles I'm trying to employ. So let's try and do it without that. And as expected, I've got the tank in the wrong place. That's okay. It goes here. We can get to about there. We sort of don't have room, do we? We really don't have room down here. Alright, against my better judgment, I'm going to have to fix the design in inverted commas, I guess. By putting a tank in here. Singular. Like so. Running a wire from the tank all the way down here. To this point, and at this point we are basically going to insert a pump if we can fit it. We can. We are going to put the wire on the pump, and we are going to insist that we have light is greater than 22,000 or you don't crack it. And how much of a gap do we have here now? Just one, so that's actually not doing any good whatsoever. There we go. So what that will do is force a certain amount to be turned into light, well, rocket fuel, which should help a bit. So I guess I will duplicate that across the oil and then come back to you. See you soon. And we'll continue. So what am I doing? If we go into map, I've actually moved. Over here I changed the plan. I've actually got 2 tanks here. That seems to work a little bit better, and I changed the amount I don't think we can see it from here, but it's now set to 44,000 rather than 22. That just seemed to work a little bit better in terms of ensuring a decent amount of rocket fuel was available, or light was available to process rocket fuel if that's what we needed. We've now cleared all the requests. These are all rocket fuel trains. In fact, this is a full rocket fuel train waiting to pull in here. Oil is under control, although this will probably congest up again if we don't start using it, because I haven't added any additional platforms there yet. I've come over to old oil because we don't have any rocket fuel left down here, or not to speak of anyway. How are we doing? 10, 11, we've got tons of UPS of course. How are we doing here? Interestingly, now that we're using quite a bit of iron, steel, iron has taken over from copper, but of course we're not actually doing that many electronic circuits just at the moment, so it's a little bit misleading in that regard. So what we need, well, this is interesting. I might just, we've lost this for some reason, so I guess I will change any that are like that to active provider chests, just to see if that will help create a little bit more. It is creating a little bit of action, but not very much. So we do have, that's a requester chest. Not quite sure why we have a requester chest there. Now, the purpose of these stations has basically changed. We don't actually want to be loading trains with rocket fuel from here anymore. Basically, we want to reverse everything, change these to passive providers. Change them to passive providers. Whoops. That's what happens when you can't see, because there's a swarm of bots over you. Change them to passive providers so that these fuel stops can actually refuel trains. And there's a train that's just been refueled and back on its way. So that's how the train stop works. But it requires these things to be around the other way. So we will do that. We will actually also do that. There we go. There we go. So when these trains are ultimately empty, I don't actually want it to go there. We'll change this to empty, inventory empty, and then I'm basically just going to send it to the graveyard. Tool circuit condition, and this one as well. There we go. We will set these up for well, we could do it now actually. Set it up with a publisher. Probably only need one subscriber. Let's do it. Set it up with a publisher, and the condition will be let's just do that. Retrain contents. Guess we'll change the name of this train as station as well to rocket refueling, fueling, unload, and this will be if rocket fuel divided by minus 1,000, say, output rocket fuel and 1 plus rocket fuel output P, and our usual event, if trains coming is less than P, then go and get rocket fuel. But of course P at the moment is minus 10 because there's tons of rocket fuel here still. Must be about 11,000 in fact, it would seem, now that we've emptied these trains. That actually was all I really wanted to do. Maybe we could start picking up some of these guys. It's probably worthwhile. Oh, do I not have my robots on me? I do not. Oh, there you go. Instead of taking these down, let's just put modules in something else that we're going to take down. Well, they're still building, so guess it's not as simple as that. Alright, that's fine. So that just means that our current arrangements with fuel will be able to carry on. How was plastic? 944. It must have built some more. That's okay. Now what I'd like to do, I think, is this over here needs some attention. Let's go to hashtag copper6. Hashtag copper6. Basically, I've been kind of manually massaging the coal supply to ensure it doesn't block the traffic. I'm going to set up a little combinator to sort that out so that I don't need to manually interfere. Something like this. But it won't need to be as complex as that. I guess I'm lucky that copper6 is still here, even given that this is completely dead and should actually be removed, and we might even do that after we're done. So what I want to do is basically say we will close this signal here. Unless we have to do that one. I think we have to do that one. We can't actually control this one. Let me just see. Yep, we cannot do anything to that one. So we have to come back to this one here. We can close this one. I don't like that. Let's have an independent line. Oops, you need to come back a bit. So this one here is basically going to read these, and I'm going to use, do I want to use green? No, I want to, yeah, actually I will use green. It's going to read these, and unless there's at least 2 green, it is going to say no to allowing traffic from coal. So closed signal, closed condition is green lights are less than 2. And at the moment there's no green lights, there's only 6 red lights. So that will force all of these coals to stay here unless there's at least a couple of spaces in here. Now I'm going to pause again. We've been a little bit bitsy. I'll see how much time we've got for a final segment. Let's just save. And for our final stretch, I think we can do something that's completely different from what we've been doing for a while, and that is punch out the perimeter a bit further, so that I'm actually going to look for a location for a future science location, because clearly now that we can do launches, science is a definite thing that we need to do. We also need to look for a second oil facility location somewhere down in this general region. So I'm currently down below the silo. I doubt very much this is big enough for science. We could possibly do batteries or something in there, which is a definite possibility. Batteries, not batteries, I mean engines, of course. You guys are mind readers, you knew that, so not a problem. And we are out of rail temporarily. Let's see what we've got in our box of tricks. We have a bit in there. Let's grab that. Carry on. Actually, what I should do before we get too far down this path is switch out those, put in some nuclear reactors, some more portable fusion reactors, and that should help keep lots well charged as we press on. Now I am expecting to hit this water very shortly, so that will probably be the extent of the additional track that we can make. Certainly as a start. We'll have to get landfill down here as well so that we can continue the perimeter. We've about to run straight into an iron patch, and I am not actually going to worry too much because it's actually not impossible to mine completely out a patch, even if you do have you do drive straight through it. Just have to move the miners around a little bit. It's a little annoying, so it's certainly nicer not to have to. And this one's probably big enough to want to tap. It's 20 million, so it's not too bad. I wonder how this feature chooses its colour scheme. Are we going to hit this coal as well, or are we clear of it? We're going to be full of wood very shortly, but we're also very close to the end of the line as far as what we can do. And I am kind of thinking that we are getting a nice big space here. It might suffice, or this space here. This one will come down and meet the two. That might be a bit of a project to connect those up. We've got to that annoying wood point where we have to donate our wood to the train and press on. Seem a bit light on lamps actually as well. Let's see if we've got any lamps on board this thing. We do. Probably need some of these while we're here. And let's grab a set of signals. In fact, all of those could be done in duplicate. Although we're almost there. We couldn't plant any just there. I don't have any landfill on me. We couldn't put any just there. Looks like there's another hole here. So that looks like it's the end of the line. And the end of the line for this episode. Next episode, we may well look at our furnace enhancement. Our furnace stack enhancement. Probably start with this since I don't have beacons in it, so that, and it's also a more lightly used facility. And we can talk about that more next episode, but certainly I think we can make a big UPS savings there. I actually have two ideas for it, but I will probably only just do the more modest one at this stage, but we can definitely make a significant UPS saving. Speaking of, we're under 10, but that's probably because its production has well, 35,000. That's something. Not very much though. Not very much at all. That's why it's so light. Let's quickly check our power. Our power grid. And I think I've broken my supply train by accidentally connecting that red lamp to our system, but I can fix that. That's fine. We now have 247,000 solar panels, which is very good. Probably at 300,000, which would be 18 gigawatts. I will rip 2 more nuclear gigawatts out because you only get half of the solar, remember, effectively, since it's day and night and it's only working during day. So 18 is really only 9. And I think I want 9, well, I think I want at least sort of 10, 11 now to be on the safe side, especially as we add more power greedy things into our network. So yes, at 300,000 solar panels, I will remove 2 more gigawatts off the nuclear. Let's see if we can see a difference as the nuclear comes online. Well, it is going up, but maybe not too badly, probably because production is really just dropping off altogether. Yeah, production's getting even lighter as we speak. We can't have that for too long, so yeah, next episode probably the furnace upgrade, and then moving into our science build. Looking forward to it. See you then, guys. Bye bye for now.